What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to cover all of the recent stock and crypto portfolio moves, as well as tell you guys which company and why I spent $15,000 on actually yesterday. So a new addition to the portfolio. If you guys enjoy the content, please be sure to smash the like button. It would really help grow the channel. And if you have any comments or constructive criticism, also drop those down below in the comments section. Also, if there's any computer whizzes, please reach out to me. My email is on the home of the YouTube channel. Been trying to do videos on the computer, but they just have not been working because the computer is moving too slowly. My words are not matching up with what the camera is showing, and everything is just moving too slow. So I'd like to do more videos on the computer, but hasn't been able to work lately. So I appreciate that. All right, so in the main stock account, we were down 1763 today. Schwab has updated their app, so it's a lot more clustered, to be honest. So it looks like now it shows the daily move and as well as how much you're up or down on the position overall, which I'm not sure why there's a gain and a loss page anymore if you're going to show it on the position page as well. So it's a little more clustered in my opinion, but here are the main positions from largest to smallest. For the main movers, we had Tesla up another 2% today, now sitting at 138% gain. We had Amazon down 1%. We had Palantir down 3%. Shopify up 3%. CrowdStrike down 3%. And we had Uber, which is the new addition to the portfolio, up 1.2%. So I bought 250 shares worth $15,000 yesterday. And I'll get to that in a minute. So we're now using 26,613 of margin. I quickly just want to explain. Obviously, I do not like to use margin. However, I'm basically using this as like a short-term loan because I know I'm going to be selling the crypto portfolio probably quarter two to late quarter one to early quarter two of next year. So that'll obviously put me in a big cash position. So I'm just acting as if I have all that cash now in order to take advantage of some of these opportunities. So recently in the portfolio, we got Uber. I did transfer out 5,000 more because I'm going to be setting up some long-term positions in Robinhood. And then I did sell a 500 strike cover call and collected 1,900. I did that on the 13th. So quickly, just want to explain what I was looking at for Uber. On a technical standpoint, here's the daily chart. So we're obviously under 27 on the RSI, which is very rare. This is a year out chart, and we've never even come close to that really in the past year. We've obviously touched 30 for a moment, but each time it's touched 30, it's kind of come right back up. So the daily is looking pretty good for a dip buying opportunity. And then I also like to look at the weekly and the monthly because those are going to be your best charts. So looking at the monthly, what I see here is number one, a nice trend line that has hit one. It didn't hit those other two times in the middle, but it came close, and now we're hitting that trend line once again. So this is a monthly trend line of the entire history of this company. And so for a initial starter size position, not only do we have it coming down to a trend line that has held up for several years, we're also down 30.92% off of highs, which is a good dip buying opportunity. And then also here we're coming up on horizontal resistance. So I see this as a good first entry. I thought about picking up some leaps actually, but I like to actually make my first entry with regular stock, and then if it continues to drop, look for some really great entries even lower for some leaps. So I could see it possibly dropping to this lower wick right here in like the mid 50s, and then possibly coming down below 50, but that may not happen. So I went pretty heavy. So depending how far a stock is when I determine to enter it, determines whether I go with like a 50 25 25 strategy, or if I go with a 25 25 50 strategy. So what I do is I determine how big I want the position to be, which in this case is about a $30,000 position. With such a strong company, I decided to go with a 50 25 25 strategy. So I'm putting in half of what I want the position to be. So half of 30,000 is 15, and then my next two buys would be, actually I'll probably do 2 to even 3 more buys of like 25%, or maybe lower those down to like between 20 and 25%. But either way, I felt this was a good opportunity. And like I said, I'm basically pretending that I'm sitting on a large stack of cash, which is the crypto portfolio. So I felt okay going a little heavier here. So that was that account. Next, I want to look at the Leaps account. So this is going to be the Leaps account now. So there are some new additions to this one as well. Obviously, we still have the 120 calls and the 110 calls, which for snow, which are both up around 130%. Not writing any covered calls on those Leaps for now. And then I entered into Intel. So I picked up some $20 calls out to December 18th of 2026. So these are, pretty much exactly 2 years out. I picked up 3 contracts, and I just see this as a good swing trade opportunity. So obviously, Intel is pretty much as low as it's been in a decade, and it came down to these 18.5 levels, a few months ago, and so I figured anywhere in this 18 to 20 range is going to be a great opportunity for a possible long-term swing trade. And I really need several companies that I can start writing covered calls against when I cash out of the crypto portfolio, because then I'm going to be placing more emphasis on cash flow. So in order to do that, I need to start a handful of long-term swing trades that are in currently good bottoming out phases that I can turn around and write covered calls on. So that is the plan with Intel. I know that Intel is not necessarily in a good spot right now, but I feel that if they can find a good CEO and get things moving, that it could at least come back to maybe $30, somewhere around there, which would be a good swing trade. And then I would have to determine whether I want to keep the shares or keep the Leaps, or possibly exercise it into shares. Next, the next position, so I might add to those Intel at some point, but this is my first bullet into Intel. That would be more of a 20, probably like a 30 30 30 strategy with or I guess 33 33 33 strategy. So I'll probably do 3 buys because it's so low. I'll do probably 3 buys into Intel. The next company that I'm going to be picking up some Leaps soon is Celsius. So this company obviously has been beaten way down, but recently one of my absolute all-time favorite technical indicators has flashed. So this is a weekly chart of Celsius, and obviously looks like it's found support in this 25 to 30 range. But what I saw flash was this weekly MACD crossover right here. So the black line has crossed over that red line. This blue histogram has now turned positive. So this exact indicator, if you guys remember, was what got me into snow. And snow, those Leaps are up, 130%. And so that weekly MACD crossover is one of my favorite indicators. And so I think that not only because of that flashing, but I think at these levels, Celsius is a good long-term swing trade that could turn into a possible investment. Either way, I'll be able to sell calls on these Leaps, and that's what is going to be more important to me, with cash flow becoming an emphasis. So Celsius will make it into the Leaps portfolio soon. I was going to look at it today, but today was fairly weak for Celsius. So here are the companies. I was able to get Uber actually pretty good because I bought these yesterday, and Uber did make a 1.3% move, so nice to see that. Intel I actually bought last Friday, so that went up and then came back down, and then Celsius just had a very weak day, so I didn't go ahead and pick up those leaps today, but I probably will look at them tomorrow, depending on kind of how the day goes, especially with the Fed rate announcement. So Little Robinhood's going to turn to exclusively Leaps portfolio, and definitely excited to grow that one. Crypto has been selling off a little bit, even though Bitcoin is hitting all-time highs. So it's called Bitcoin dominance. So Bitcoin takes a ton of liquidity in order to make new all-time highs because it's such a giant asset, and so it's pulling that liquidity from the altcoins. So this portfolio down 17K in the past 24 hours. I'm not stressing it at all. If anything, I'll be buying the dip on some of these if they continue to pull back, but overall very confident that the altcoins will receive that rotation. Once Bitcoin sort of stalls out, that dominance comes down, and then that liquidity flows into altcoins, which is exactly what we saw a couple weeks ago, and that's when you get 20 to 50% moves on these altcoins. So no worries here whatsoever. If we get a fairly dovish Jerome Powell conference tomorrow, I would expect that could possibly be the catalyst for these altcoins to start to move. Looking at any of the near-term expiring options, I think we only have let's see, I think we have a Palantir that's in December 20th. Everything else is out to next year, I believe. Yeah, I think that's kind of the only one. So I'll roll that probably not till next week sometime. But everything else is out to next year. So like I said, tomorrow we have the FOMC interest rate decision at 2 o'clock, and then, as most people know, the Fed Chair Powell press conference tends to be actually more important for what happens that day. Thursday we have initial jobless claims, GDP, and existing home sales. And then Friday also core PCE, which is very important as well. So I will be keeping an eye on that. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Like I said, if there's any computer whizzes out there, if you could send me an email, maybe we could hop on a Zoom call or just a chat through text. Either way, that would be very helpful so I can start doing these videos on a computer. So I appreciate you guys. As always, take care and God bless.